Okay, so today we are going to be doing an introduction to JavaScript. So first things first, I want you guys to define what JavaScript is. What do you, in the text box, please. Okay. I think the responses should come fast. Okay. Okay, Fisayo, can you hear me now? Is it clear? Okay, that's enough. So yeah, you guys are actually spot on. JavaScript is a programming language, of course, and it's used to enhance the user interface of an application or a web, whatever app. It could be a web app or a mobile application, but JavaScript is used for to provide that interactivity between the elements of a web page. We're going to focus on web since we are doing web here. So I'll be using web a lot. So to focus on the interactivity of the web. So from my explanation, you see that JavaScript is a very versatile programming language, primarily used for adding interactivity to web pages, unlike HTML and CSS. I'm sure you guys all understand what HTML and CSS is, and you can use that. So JavaScript is a scripting language that enables dynamic behavior in web application. So I want us to go ahead and just set up our VS Code. And how many of us here can set up a VS Code, your VS Code for JavaScript? Hello? In the text box, please. When I ask like this, I just want a response in the text box. All right, okay. So first things. Okay, so with this now, you understand that we are ready to manipulate our application with JavaScript, right? So we come here, come to the script, and then we can write our basic JavaScript here. So first things first, I want to know what you guys understand by variables. I think I saw Jesam. Jesam, tell us about variables.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jason. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so variables are like containers where you store items. Like if you want to get back to them, just store. If you have a cup, you want to drink water, you put the water inside the cup. And if you want to drink, you get the cup and drink water. That's finished.
Okay. Yeah,
It's more like
that's yeah. So if you want to declare a variable now, we have three ways of declaring variables. We have the var, we have the let, keyword, and then we have the const. Iyanu, tell us the difference between the const and var. Can you hear me? Iyanu, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
You can't hear me. Yeah, I can hear you now. Speak.
Yeah, constant variable, type
Yeah.
of variable which do not change form.
Okay. Then
Why
var.
variable type of variable which which changes form.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you're right. But let me just explain it a little bit further. So variables declared with var are function scoped. All right. So their function scope, you can tweak them, you can change them depending on the function or where the app is placed in the function, right? So var can be redefined. Like if I define var here as say var fruits equals to apple. Okay, so if we console log this, we should get okay, yeah. So when you console log this, you should have your apple, right? So this is a string. So let me explain what happened here now to you guys. So I was declaring this and it's supposed to be a string. This is not defined. If it was defined before and I put it here, that's different. So let's assume that I have a var of options. No, let me not use of cars, of car, and then I declare this car as Camry. All right. So if I come here and I want to put this car here, I should be able to use it. Okay. All right, so you can use this now because it's declared, right? But when I was using it at first, there was no declaration here for that apple, right? Which is why we had that we're not getting a console log, but for now we're back. So let's just continue from where we stopped. All right, so fruit apple, if we console log this, we get the apple. Now we want to redeclare this. So if I come down here and I do var fruit, and I give it orange, what will it give us? Are you following? All right. So it will give us orange because we have redeclared it. But if we do the same for const, it will not work. So you see now that it's already giving us an error sign on the fruit variable to show that, okay, this is something that cannot work. We can't do this. So if we want to declare orange now, we have to maybe change this to another name. And that way now we can declare another const. So for this, this is mostly used for many reasons. We use const because it's predictable and you are not, it doesn't surprise you. So you are doing it, you are using const for variables that you don't want to change. But when you're using var, that means you have plans of probably using that variable again somewhere else, which is fine. Yeah. So most times I'm going to be using const. Are we together? Can you guys hear me? All right. So let's go on to operators. So we have different types of operators. We have arithmetic operators, we have comparison operators, and we have logical operators, right? So arithmetic operators are just like your normal everyday arithmetic operators, like plus, minus, like minus, plus, equals to, and the modulus. Yeah, and yeah. So let's do a little stuff with them. So assuming we have let num1 equals to 10, and then we have let num2, let's use equals to 20. So and we want to get the sum of these two numbers, the sum of num1 and the sum of num2, right? So we'll say let sum equals to, sum is just normal addition, right? So it's going to be num1 plus num2. Are you following? All right. So we have num1 plus num2. If we console log this, we should get the sum of that arithmetic function. Yeah, so the sum is 30, right? So we can do the same thing with other arithmetic operators like minus. Let's say you want to minus this, that's want to see the difference between these two numbers, right? And the difference should be 10, yeah. So the difference is minus 10 because of this is a higher number. But that's not important. The main point here is the fact that you can subtract between these two figures and get your result. Same thing as multiplication, right? you can multiply them and get a result too. That is 200. Can you see my console? Is it too small? Should I zoom it? All right, okay. So we have, that's for multiplication. We can do the same thing with division. And we have 0.5. Then we can also do modulus, right? So this is what we use for modulus. What this does is it checks, it divides this equally, then gives you the result is the remainder of this division. So let's assume that we are dividing 7 by 2. 7 by 2. All right. So what will be the result of 7 by 2? 7 divided by 2. Okay. Alabi Sunday. Okay, yeah. So the result is 1, because what's going to be left after dividing 7 by 2 is 1. But it's possible it can be different if you are dividing it by 3. You get something different. Yeah, still 1, because yeah, of course. So yeah, that's what this does. I hope everybody understands what the modulus is being used for here. Hello, do you guys understand what the modulus is being used for? Yes, okay, all right. So let's move on to comparison. Yeah. So for comparison, it's about the same thing. It's just a regular greater than, equals to, and less than, right? So let's say console.log num1 and is greater than num2, right? So as it is right now, what will be the result here? Will it be a number? Okay, so the result will not be a number. The result will be a Boolean. So that's going to be, is greater than, this is true. This will be true. Yeah, that's true. So if we do the same thing, we say is less than num2. That's wrong. So it's false, because actually 7 is greater than 3, right? And then you want to do equals to. So for JavaScript, equals to is not 1. If you use 1, we use 1 for assigning, like we are doing here when assigning numbers and attributes to our variables, right? So we use 3 equals to signs for an equals to operator. Are we together? Any question? Any question, guys? Okay, seems like we are following. So this scenario now, where we have num1 equals to num2, we are supposed to have a false, because num1 is not equals to num2. So let's assume we want to say num1 is greater than or equals to, right? It's true. Why is it true? Because we turn on, yeah, exactly. So if you do the same thing, you should get false if it is or equals to, but how about if it is equals to, then what do you get with this very formula? You should get true. Please, do you all understand what I just did? All right, I see your comments, no question. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Let us move to logical operators. So logical operators, basically, we use them most times to short circuit our code, but we'll get to that part where we can actually use them to do actual short circuiting. But for now, let's just say, so let is true equals to true, and let is false equals to false, right? So if I say also the log is true, and what would be the result of this expression? All right, David. Okay, all right, good. All right. Then what if we now say, what if we say or instead of and? What would be the result? True, okay. Because one of them is, okay, all right, good. And how about if we say, what would be the result for this? False, okay. All right. So I think we're good with that for now. We can move on to data types. So can we move on? Are we together? All right, all right. Okay, so in JavaScript, we have different data types. We have numbers, string, Boolean, null, undefined, objects, array, yeah. So these are the data types we'll be looking into. There are some other data types that I'm sure you guys have had the opportunity to learn. Am I right? Yeah, you are right, Faith. Okay, so are you satisfied with the explanation Faith just gave to you, or do you want me to take it? Do you want me to explain it again? Elijah.
You can go on, sir.
Okay, all right. So yeah, these are the data types we are going to be looking at. So for num, when declaring number as a data type, you don't need the um you don't need to string it. So you just input the number directly when using number. You see that it already defines the number as the data type as number. If you want to have a string, let's say, I can still use the same number, the same thing to define a string. Let's say string. I can say, I can still put 0 here. But the difference between this now and this is that this one is a string and this one is a number. Do you understand? Are we together? All right. So let me use something else for this tomorrow. Okay. So we want to declare there are methods we can use to operate, like manipulate a string, right? Because sometimes you might have a string that you want to manipulate it, maybe add something or remove something or check something, right? So let's assume that we want this to be an uppercase, right? And there is a method for handling that. So we say console log. Let's console log the string first and see what it brings. So and find variable numbers. Okay. Good. So we have hello world, right? It's already in caps. It's already an uppercase. Okay, so if we save this now, we should have it in lowercase. All right, so we've got uppercase. So this will handle, we change it from lowercase to uppercase. Are you following? Can do the same. Who's drawing on my board? Who's drawing on my screen? Hello? I'm getting some lines on my screen. Is it who's drawing on the screen? Okay, please just try not to draw on the screen. Okay, so this is for uppercase. Then let's assume you want to split, or you want to split your string, right? So this hello world now, you want it to be like you want to remove one from maybe have a delimiter here or something. You can handle that using the split method. Yeah, you can do it to lowercase too. And then also log another string dot split. Then you want to define how you want to split. So let's assume that we did not have any space here. Hold on. We want to check the length of the string, right? So the length of the string is 12. So, but we still want to do the split. So let me fix that split, okay? All right. So yeah. So once you do this, this should split your hello world. Like you can see here, it has separated them. They are now separate. They are now separate strings inside. Do you understand me? Are you following? Is anyone following? Okay, good. So let's go to the next data type. Before I move to the next data type, I think I want to ask a question before we move. So what other method do you guys know for handling strings? Yes, okay. Splice, okay. So who doesn't understand substring? Yes, okay. So who doesn't understand how to use all this? Yeah, join to, yeah. Who doesn't understand how to use all that? Yeah, try it. The match, okay, nice. So I assume everybody knows how to use all this then. Index of, yes, the last index of, yeah. So, okay, good. So for this class, these are the methods I'm going to cover. So feel free to explore other methods. There are a lot of them. So feel free to explore other methods because moving forward, you require a lot of manipulation of data and data types. So it's very important that you understand how to use all this stuff. But any method that you don't understand among these that you've stated here, do well to message me or ask questions in the group so that your peers can share their knowledge with you, and I too can also share knowledge with you. So we will be moving forward. I hope we are good with that. Hello, are we good? All right. So let's move to Boolean. So we all understand what Boolean is already. We've used it here. So Boolean is just data type that indicates if something is truthy or falsy. So the Boolean is just straightforward truthy or falsy. I think that's something we understand already from the responses I got earlier while we're doing operators. Yeah, okay. So is that a new yes or old yes? Ian, can we move forward? Are we good with Boolean? Yeah. Okay, all right, marvelous. All right. So let's check null. So for null value is like it says, it's null. So the same thing with undefined. So if you say let null value be null. So if you console log this, it gives you null as the data type. Even hovering on it, it's giving you any. So let's just console log it and see it in real time. Yeah, so you see it's given null. Same thing happens when if you give it an undefined. If undefined is a little bit different. So if I define this, let undefined, right? What happened here? Because there's no assignment happening here, right? So this doesn't contain any value. So if I console log this, it should definitely give us undefined. Are we good? Can we move? Well, Faith, for variable declaration, I wouldn't say you are not going to particularly assign a value of null. Why are you assigning a value of null in the first place to your variables, right? So it's just a data type. Definitely during writing writing out your code, there are chances that some informations can come as null information. Sometimes maybe from the backend, sometimes it's part of your dummy data, right? But what you need to understand is that defining a variable and giving it a null value, most times, I don't think it's something that we do a lot, right? So for undefined, you don't necessarily need to assign a value to undefined because like I did here, you see that this is not assigned. There's nothing assigned to this. That automatically makes it undefined. Even if I call this house, right? As far as I don't assign anything to this house, if I console log this house, it will give me an undefined value. Undefined. So yeah, even though, well, we'll talk about that when we get to that stage for use state and um, some other React hooks. Yeah. So for use state and some other React hooks, yeah, thank you, David. Yeah, you want to use null at some point to like define their initial state, right? So when we get to that stage, we'll understand why we use that. For now, I don't know, Faith, are you okay? Okay, all right, let's move on. So we go to object. We want to talk about object now. So for objects, we have let's say let person equals to, so to define an object, the content of your object need to be surrounded by these curly braces for them to be an object. Then within the object, we define our variables as key and key value pairs, right? So in this scenario now, this is the key. Name here is the key, and this is the value. So they are always in pairs, key value pairs. Age has its number. Is married, false, that's Boolean. Friends has its friends, right? We'll discuss this data type in a bit. So for this now, if we want to console log now, all right, let's say we console log person. What comes out from a console log of person? The information, right? Are you good now? Udo. Udo, where did you lose me? And Joseph, I don't know, are you trying to be a developer or an artist? You are really drawing a lot on my screen. Well, Okay, so Udo, are you satisfied? What do you want here? Where did you get lost? Just unmute and speak. Where did you get lost?
Okay, I was saying that you should scroll up because the object that you were defining was really down in exactly, so I could see
Oh,
it
okay.
very well.
All right,
Thank
that's
you.
fine. Okay, all right. So yeah, so this object now, if we console log this object, we should get this is what the object looks like. So that we have the name, the age, the is married, and then we have his friends. So let's assume we want to display just some properties of this particular person. Maybe we just want to see the person's name, right, in the console. What we do is we call the key. After we call the person, we call the key. So it's like asking the person for his name, right? Are you following? Hello, anybody? Speak. All right, good. So for this now, we are just going to see the person's name, which is John. Can do the same thing for all of them. Say age, we see the person's age, right? And all that. Okay. So that's where we assess. Let's assume we want to add a new property to this person, right? So we can say person, this person dot job. So the person's job is not indicated here, right? But we want to know the person's job. So we ask the person for his job, and now we know the person's job. We want to add it to the person's record, right? And this person is, let's say, a developer. Right? So this person is a developer. If we console log person, the job should be okay. Hold on. So why did nobody say anything? Did someone say something? Please check your console. So it's person. Yeah. Okay. So you can see that it's now it added the job to this person's profile. So someone is E-Tech. You say I should check your console at the top of the browser. What do you need? Just unmute and speak. Let me understand you. Daniel, hold on. I'll call you up next. E-Tech, is that your name? Why is not your name on this stuff? Okay, Daniel, speak. Let me hear you.
Okay, I understand what eTech is trying to say. There is a way you can undeck your console. It will be on a separate window to make it easier for us to see.
Oh, okay. So you guys are not seeing it now. That's
It's
okay.
not
No worries.
very clear.
It's fine. It's fine. Let me move it to another browser. So, Okay, so how about now? Is it fine?
Yeah, it's
Please,
better.
can you make it equal? It can be equal with the other side, like
Okay, you want to-
50-50.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, reduce this side. Yeah,
that's fine. Is that okay now?
and also like you can zoom in to make it a lot better.
That is
Thank you.
50-50.
I
Yeah.
asked this question before. I asked you guys, is it okay? Should I zoom in? Nobody was saying anything.
No,
Okay.
no, it's okay. Zooming is okay.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. We can move on, right? Can we move? Please mute yourself. Can we move? I want to get the response in the chat. Hello, can you mute your mic? Okay, good. All right. So now we've added this new new key of job, and we've given it a job, right? And that's showing already on our console. So the job has been added. All right. So let's move on. Let's move to arrays. So there are many other ways you can handle this. Like I said, we'll handle the things we can handle in this call. Then feel free to ask questions on the group, do your own research. And there are many methods. There are methods you can use to handle objects, right? Let's move to arrays. So for arrays, we don't use square brackets, right? We use what do you call it? I think it's rectangle also. Yeah, square bracket instead. So we use a square bracket instead for this. So let fruits equals to, okay, we have fruits somewhere already. Yeah. Let's take that out. So let fruits equals to apple, orange, banana. Okay. So for this now, if we console log these fruits, so you see we have the apple as an array. And when you have an arrays, we have indexes attached to each property of the array. So now we have apple. Apple is sitting on the 0 index, orange is sitting on the 1 index, banana is sitting on the 2 index, right? Do you understand the indexing that I just explained and why we start from 0? All right, okay. So we move from there. So we have methods for handling arrays. So let's assume I want to visualize only the first property of this array. I'll pick the index of 0, right? Because we count the index as 0, 1, 2, right? So if I pick the index of 0, it should show me just the apple. If I pick index of 2, it should show me the banana. Good. So want to do other methods like the push. There is a push method. So let's assume we want to add another fruit to this array, and we say fruits. I like to define them. Let new fruits equals to orange. Do I have orange here? So let's new fruit equals to mango. Yeah. Okay. So if we come here and we say fruits. So are you following? New fruits. Console.log fruits down here now. We should have that array with mango at the end. So mango has taken the index of 3. So let's assume that I don't want mango to be the last index, to be on the last index, right? So we'll use a method called splice. So undo that. So for that, I'm going to define the index so let index add equals to, let's say we want to put mango at the index of 2, right? I'm going to comment this out for now. And then we say fruits. So what's happening here is, why am I getting an error here? Is that an error? Okay. So what's happening here is we are using this method, right, to handle the introduction of mango to this array. If we console log this now, we should have mango in the middle. We should have mango at the number 2 index. So what we are doing here, we are saying that we want to, at 2 index, which is this index we have defined here, at index 2, we don't want to delete anything, which is why we put 0 here, but we want to add this new fruit to index, to the array. Do you understand what happened there? Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, I should explain that again. All right, that's fine. So for splice takes 3 arguments, right? Splice, this method receives 3 arguments. The first argument is the index you want mango to appear in. So this is index 0, index 1, this is index 2, right? So assuming we want to add mango to index 2, that means we want to push banana forward and let mango be the index 2 stuff in the object, right? So based off this now, we are going to say, okay, this is the index I want to change, or this is the index I want to introduce something into, which is index 2. I've defined that already, right? You can go straight to do that right inside the code, inside here. You can decide to do index 2 here, right? It's okay. For me, I like to define my variables before I use them, right? So so we'll follow my own process. So this index to add now is the particular index where I want my mango to appear in this array when it comes in, right? So it's like having a couch in your house and 4 people are sitting on the couch. right? And from the right-hand side, you want somebody to join that couch, but you want the person to sit after the first two people. Do you understand? Now, because of the way we count array, we count indexes, which is why we count it from 0, 1, 2. We are now considering this point now to introduce Mango into this point, which is that person, that fifth person that is going to sit on that couch, but we want the person to sit after the first two people. So when we come here now, we don't want to remove anybody. We have introduced the number, the seats we want that person to sit in. We don't want to remove anybody from that couch. That is why we're putting 0 here. So assuming we want to remove somebody from the couch, we will put this index. We'll put the number of people we want to remove from here now. Let's say we want to remove one person from here, but in this case, we don't want to remove anybody. So after putting the fact that we don't want anybody out, that means we're going to be having 5 people sitting on the couch after this person has joined at that index. Then we now want to introduce the person. This now is the person that we want to sit on that couch. Do you understand now? Hello, do you understand me? No, so this 0 now, 0 has nothing to do with index. 0 is just the number of properties you want to delete when doing this splice. You know that you can actually remove while doing a splice. So if you don't want to remove anything from this array now, because since you are defining index 2, right? Let's remove 1 and then we see what happens. So, okay, wait, let me, yeah, we've actually, so mango has been introduced and banana has been taken off. Do you understand? Alabi, I think what I just said now should explain your question. So, okay, the last element to be removed. Yes, I have good. So it's not really the last, it's not really the last element per se. It should work with this index. Sorry. It should work with this index.
Technically, I report to you and every history.
Yeah, my bad. So it should delete from the index that we are trying to replace, right? So it should work like removing and replacing, but we don't want to replace. That's why we are putting 0. So we are not removing anything from this array before we add this to the array. So if we save this now and check it in the console, we should have mango before banana. Is it clear? So let's assume that we don't want it to sit in the index of 0. We want it to sit in the index of 1, which is the position where orange is right now. Then what we are going to have is mango is going to come before orange. Is there anyone that does not understand what I just demonstrated? Anyone?
Sir, please
Okay.
display. Can you display your console again? I want to check something.
Okay. Just raise your hand next time. I'll ask you to unmute.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. So can we move, please, in the text box? Don't reply. Okay, we have 2 hands raised. Let me see who the 2 people are. Okay, Fisayo and Josephine. Fisayo, unmute yourself. Let me hear what you have to say. Hello, Fisayo. Hello, Josephine. Let me hear you. Let's hear you. Unmute.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. So, okay, what about if you want to remove, maybe you want to delete from the array, you want to add something, but you want to still remove from it, like that 0 now. If you put, like, you want to remove one thing, what will happen? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I just demonstrated that now. So let's assume that we are removing, let's still use the banana scenario. So let's assume that I change this 0 to 1, right? Are you with me? If I go here now, see that very one is gone. The banana is gone.
Okay.
But mango is there now.
Okay, yes, I understand now. So if it's 2, to remove 2 things.
Good. So let's just try it. Let's see what happens. So you see that nothing happens. It's still the same thing. It's still that very one that gets missing from the array. So you either use 1 or 0.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what it does is like, I want to replace something in a particular spot. So it's either I'm removing the one that was there, or I'm pushing it further to place the new one that I want to place there. Is that good? Hello, Josephine. Is that okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Faith, go on.
Good afternoon. So
Yeah.
it's a bit confusing, like that removal aspect of it, but I think I will still read more on it. Because when you do 1, I'm thinking, is it to remove the 1 before the place, the like where mango is being placed? And when you do 2, I don't know, I feel like there should be, I don't know, logical reasoning to like why, like what
Yeah,
index
that's
does it
okay.
remove?
Let me try to explain it to you. Don't mute yourself. Just stay on so that you can give me feedback when you are satisfied. So did you get the scenario of the couch that I described? It
Yes, I
didn't
do.
make sense. You got the scenario, right? So you have 4 people sitting on the couch, right? And you want to introduce, let's use what we have now. You have 3 people sitting on the couch, and you want to introduce another person to sit on that couch, right? Now, let's assume you are not removing anybody from the couch. So you're not telling anybody to stand up. You just want the new person to get in and sit. But you don't want that person to sit at the beginning of the couch, and you don't want them to sit at the end, right? So you want a scenario where the last person to the right should shift for the new person to sit in between the last person and the second to the last person, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now that is where indexing comes in, right? So we have this index now is the first person on the couch. This index is the second person. This index is, yeah, based on our index, this is 0, but it's the first person. But for indexing, we use 0 to depict that first person. Then we have 1, and then we have 2. Now, if I want that person to sit after the last or before the last person, right? That means the last person has to shift for that person to sit at that position. Are you following?
Yes, I am.
Good. So if I'm not removing anybody from that couch, that is when I use 0 here, because I don't want anybody to stand up from the couch. I just want them to sit together. But I want the new person to sit before the last person, right? Now, that last person's position is index 2, which is this index that we have selected as an index to place this new person that wants to sit, right? Now, if once we introduce this person now, this new fruit now, which is this last argument on this splice, this person will now take the position of banana. But banana will not be deleted because we did not tell anybody to stand up. We put 0 here. Yeah? We don't want anybody to stand up. So banana does not stand up. All banana does is it gives room for mango to take place. Do you understand? Now, if we put 1, that means we want banana to stand up. and mango to get in line. Are you following?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so that way now, if we put 1 now, it deletes banana and replaces it with mango. Do you get?
Okay. Can I say like do this thing? Let me just see the output. Can you try something?
Yeah, so you want to see the output of 0 too, right? So this is 0.
No.
And so you want to.
Yeah, I don't know if you can like add, let's say, pear at the back of that banana, and then you use 2. I want to see if the banana and the pear will, be removed.
I didn't get that question. Go again.
Like in the array. So the place you define the fruit. I don't know if you can add pear after the banana.
Okay. You want me to add pear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then that second argument, it should be 2 instead of 0.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So it takes out the 2. So let's assume that, yeah, so okay, so let me explain what happens there, right? Let's assume that we have another one, let's say purple, yeah. Okay. Good. So let's say we have 2. We have this now. If we use 2 here, it should delete 2 and leave purple. Do you understand?
Yes, I do know.
But if we
Thank
delete,
you.
yeah, if we decide we want to take 3 out, it deletes every other thing after that index. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that question. When you don't know the length of the array, well, yeah. So for length, for that kind of scenario, it depends on what you are trying to do, because if your array is so long, the use case, probably you won't want to add stuff to the middle or to a particular index. And if at all you want to use something like that, probably what you do in that scenario is pop. Are you following? Hello, can you hear me? So you push into that array, rather not pop. You push into the array. Pop is when you want to remove. Are you following? So you just use the push and it adds whatever you want to add to the end of the array, right? Most of these methods, you won't really use them. Rarely, you use them rarely, but it's good to understand them so that when you have scenarios where you need to use them, you can easily make use of them. So let's look at adding another array. Let's assume I want to add another array of, let's say this. Okay, so I want to add this now to this array, right? What we'll do is we use a spread. We'll do a push, but we'll spread this so that we can add it, right? So we'll say fruits dot push the new array. some more fruits. So we are pushing this array now into this one, but we can't push it like this because it's an array of itself. So what we need to do, we need to spread that array so that the singular, these properties of this array now can be picked singularly as themselves and added to this fruits array. So if we okay, we have our console log, so we check it. Okay, so yeah. So you see that Pierre and Popo have been added here. So what was stopping it? After this run, this one was still running. So it was removing what we had done already. Are we together? Hello, are we together? All right, cool. So yeah, so we spread this. Who doesn't understand what I did here? Okay, all right. I'm with you, I'm coming. So what happens here now is we have Pierre and Popo here, right? We cannot just directly pass this into our array. Yeah, we want to push it. So because we want to push it, we want it to be like this. We want each of them to be added here as a string of their own, right? Kofo, this is for you, please. I hope you are following. So you want to add this pair now on its own to this banana, then add this one on its own, not all of them as an array. So what we'll do is that we spread it. This spread function, this 3 dots, it opens up this array. It's like opening let's say you have what do we use? Okay, let's say you have your AirPods, right? And you want to add the singular AirPods into another array. You want to open it up and remove the array, then add it, right? Or let me just use 2 containers. You have 2 containers of oranges, right? And you want to remove oranges from one container and put in the other container. You're not going to carry the container, like container B. You're not going to carry container B and then just place it in container A. That's not what you want to do. You want to remove the content of container A, or container B, rather, and put it inside container A. That is to increase the content of container A, right? So what we are doing here is we are spreading this array so that we can pick out these things the way you pick it from a container to the other. We pick them out and then now push them into this array, which is why they are not appearing in any other index. They are still going to appear from the last index because it's a push. So when we do this now, you see that Pair and App and Popo have been added to that very array. Is that clear? All right. Okay. So let's go on to so I think let's do pop. So I'm sure you guys know what pop does. So what you are doing for pop, you are removing. So let's assume we want to remove banana from here now, right? We are just same thing, fruits dot pop. So what this does, it removes the last index. Are you following? Hello, are we together? Can we respond fast so that we can be like fast? All right, thank you. Okay, so yeah, so that removes from the last index, right? But we can remove from any index we choose, but for that we use the methods like filter. Yeah, so we can use, yes sir, the network is a bit glitchy. Okay, so we can use methods like filter. It's not like it's not a, it's more of a logical process. Like you have to, it's kind of complicated though, but let's try to make it work. So let's assume we have let's phones equals to, right, iPhone, Samsung, and Nokia. Okay. So now let's define the index we want to remove. So let's assume I want to remove index 1, right? So what I'll do is let updated fruits equals to fruits dot filter. Okay. Yeah. So I'm using an arrow function to do this. Okay, so who understands what I just did? Yeah, I'm waiting. Who understands? Okay. Faith understands what we just did. Okay, okay. Who else? So please, if you don't understand, just let me know now so that we can move fast. Let's not slow down the. Okay, good, Josephine. Okay. Who else does not understand? Okay, so what we are simply doing here, right? We are just trying to remove something, trying to remove this index, the property that is located in this index, which is index 1. No, it's index 1, Samsung. So we're trying to remove Samsung, right, from this array. But we don't want to do a normal usual pop, which will just remove things from the end, right? We want to like remove from a particular position. So what I'm doing here is I'm filtering these fruits, this array. So I'm filtering through this array and I'm saying, okay, take out all the fruits that are not in index 2 and then assign them to this variable. Do you understand? Hello? No. Okay, let's go again. So what I'm okay, yeah. Thank you so much for that correction. I've written fruit so much that fruit is now in red. Okay. All right. Okay. We can move, right? Udo. Okay, yeah, so we can move. Who said they did not understand? Is it clear now? Or I should take it again? Elijah says, come again. Okay, so you can okay, all right. So for this, so we have phones right now. We have the phone array. Okay, so we want to take out index 1. This is index 1. This is Samsung, right? So what filtering does, what we use filtering for? Filtering is like, let's say you want to see your food. Let's say you want to see fries now. Your filter is going to drop out the stones, right? And then it will hold only your rice. So now in this scenario now, this Samsung is what we want to drop out. Is our sand that we want to drop out of our filter, right? But now, how do we tell this filter what to drop? We use the index. So based on the index, we're now telling the filter that if the index all right, Imole, thank you. So if the index is not index to remove, it should filter it, it should assemble it and attach it to and assign it to this variable. Do you understand? So now what we are doing is we are not going to take this one down from here. We are leaving it behind. We are saying every other thing that is not this index should be added to this new updated phones, right? Should be added to this new updated phones array. Do you understand? Please be fast so that at least we can round this up before we close. This is like the initial state. This is like it represents this first index, right? So it's like a default. But this now is what we are mapping through. This index now is what we are now using to map through. To say, okay, if this index is, you should carry anything here that is not this index. So anything here that is not index 1 should be assigned to this updated phone. So if we come to our console.log now, you see that you have only iPhone and Nokia. You won't have Samsung. We can change it and say, okay, we want to take out index 2, which is Nokia, and you come here and you have iPhone and Samsung without Nokia. Would you call it a higher order function? It's also a method for handling arrays, right? It's a method for handling arrays. It's not higher, it's still just normal, but probably because of the usage now, it feels like it's a higher stuff, but it's not really higher. It's still the same thing. But what happens is that when you are using a filter, just like when you are using a splice, it expects you to give three arguments, right? For a filter now, you need to define what is filtering by. Do you get? So this work, what we did inside here is just telling the filter that, okay, these are the things I want you to leave behind. These are the things I want you to take and assign to updated phones. Are we good? Yeah, if it's the first index I want to remove, that will be 0. That means I'll give it index 0. It should work the same way. So it takes out iPhone and you have Samsung and Nokia. Okay, Udo, go ahead and be snappy because we are out of time.
Okay, thank you so much. You know, when I asked what the underscore is doing inside the as a parameter of the filter, you said it indicates the first index. That's why I now asked, what if what you want to, sorry?
Yeah, carry on.
Okay, so that's why I now asked, what if it is the first index you want to remove? So how do you
the same thing. You just change this index that you are defining here. You just change it. What matter?
Okay, so the underscore still remains there and still represents the first index.
Yes, exactly. It's more of the first value, right? So if you want to iterate through this array now, it will start from the first index to iterate from here, iterate to this. Then so let me use display. It will display this first before it displays this. Let's assume maybe you are doing like an if statement, right? And you want to just loop through this array. If you are looping through this array, it's going to start from the first one to the second one to the last one. So this now is like saying, okay, this is the first index here. And then we now want to check all other index and check that first one too at the same time. So if we are trying to remove the first one, it will check that first one and see that, okay, that first one is the one that actually has that index, and it will remove it.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, good. I like, yeah, good one. So it's like you're starting from the beginning to iterate through this array, so that you cannot start from here to check the array. You have to start from the beginning to iterate through the array. So I hope you understand that now.
Yes, I do. But we'll still come back to using the arrow function. But I think maybe
yes, definitely.
further classes will explain that because
definitely. Yes, definitely. Yeah. So we'll break down the arrow functions better subsequent classes. I just wanted us to use the filter option, right? So apparently we can't complete all the things we need to do today because of time. I wanted us to do control flow before our next class, but I guess we'll just do control flow briefly in our next class. Then we can move into setting up our code base for React. For now, what you can do for me is read up on control flow, if statements, and looping. So just check the control flow statements, and then we'll discuss them further when we meet in our next class. Our next class is on Wednesday. It's not going to be our next class is not going to be by 12 anymore. It's going to be by 11. So it will be the same like today, 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. So take note of that. It's not reflecting on your timetable at the moment. It will be updated. So take note of it, and then we'll discuss further Is are you considering on time? Maybe on time because we have time. Is it Chukwu? We are considering our time. It's based on our schedule, the training schedule. So we have to consider other classes and then we fixed our own time. So sorry for the inconvenience, but that time is going to stand. Okay. So please, you guys should do well to interact on the group. Please do well to interact on the group. Try to help each other. I like asking questions once in a while on the group. So if I ask like that, I expect that we can just jump on it and share our ideas. That way, get to help others and we all grow together. Yeah, classes are about 2 hours. Okay, so you guys should ask your questions in the group. We have 1 minute left, so I think this is where we'll close for today. If there's anything you don't understand, you can always reach me. I'm very accessible and available. You can send me a DM, and then you can always ask in the group. I'll try to make sure I respond. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. All right, I'll do that for you one more. Are you satisfied? All right. Thank you, guys. Bye. Okay.